Hey, welcome to Flying Wheels. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels, and in our last video we bought a Lamborghini. Unfortunately, my Ferrari overheated, so we picked up a Lamborghini, thought we were gonna have bad luck with it, ended up having good luck. Ferrari, bad luck. So we are at Ferrari of West Palm Beach now, trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with my Ferrari and how much is it gonna cost me. Teaser, I already know, it's a lot. And in today's video, we're gonna try to fix it on our own. Can I do it with my bare hands instead of paying Ferrari labor rates? How are we gonna fix it? What's wrong with it? How much are we gonna save? And can I do it? My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's fix that yellow 360 right over there, and let's get going.
Flashback.
Expectation versus reality. I thought it'd be nice to take the Ferrari with my father to go pick up the Lamborghini and then go get a nice lunch. Then a few minutes into lunch, I get a waitress walking around asking whose Ferrari is on fire. Fortunately, we literally broke down next to the Ferrari dealer. So we are now at the Ferrari dealership, dropping it off. What the heck is this gonna cost me to have this looked at now with Ferrari parts and Ferrari labor prices? Cool.
End of flashback.
So in our last video, I gambled on a 2006 Lamborghini Gallardo. Drove my 360 with my father down here to pick up the Lamborghini. Lamborghini turned out to be all right. Sadly, while this was sitting in valet, it overheated. I have to assume the valet driver just left it running at idle till a spot opened up. And as you can see, it dumped coolant everywhere. Luckily, 3 buildings over is where lunch is. This is the Ferrari dealership. We have my 360, there's a 360 up there, there's a 430 here, and then what is that, a 355 over there, a 458. There's everything here. So we're gonna check out some Ferraris. We're gonna see what's wrong with my car. We're gonna see how much it costs. First of all, how much was it to diagnose it? How much does it cost to repair? And then we're gonna fix it ourselves today. In today's video, I am going to work on a Ferrari myself. Let's go inside and see what this place has to offer. Well, before I go inside, we have the Z06 that outperforms a good amount of the cars in this parking lot for a fraction of the price. This compared to that, look at the difference, just in, again, 25-year difference, but pretty amazing. Still pretty cool looking to see on the road. And just like I said with my Corvette E-Ray video, hybrid is the future, so we have a hybrid here. Thermostat stuck open, so I'm gonna go over how much it costs to repair a thermostat at the Ferrari dealer versus how much it'll cost us, and also how much it costs me to just diagnose the vehicle. Before we do that, check this out. All right, here's my baby girl all finished up. We have the coolant just splashed all over the engine everywhere, but the car is clean and looking good and fits in at the Ferrari dealership, even with $500,000 Ferraris. Look at how nice the interior, the leather is. Floor mats are great. The dash isn't all warped. Well, maybe just a little bit. So let's figure out how much it would have cost me to fix this vehicle had we left it at Ferrari. Number one, we're gonna diagnose it. So I had them diagnose it. I'm gonna tell you how much it cost just to tell me what's wrong with this car. So if we look right here, $829.90. It cost me a total of $960.29 just to have the car diagnosed, for them to tell me that the car needs a thermostat. A thermostat. The thermostat is right here, behind this wall, right here. So $960 just to tell me that it needs a thermostat. For them to fix it, $1,869 plus tax to replace the thermostat and some coolant on this vehicle. We're gonna try to do it ourselves. Let's see if this old girl's gonna start. This fucking car. So this, I've done this in videos before. You have to hit the button just right. If you hit it too many times, it doesn't disarm the alarm. Jesus Christ. It's freaking embarrassing. I have a Ferrari that I can't get started in almost every single parking lot I'm in. Here we go. We're in reverse and we're moving. Let's get it loaded up and back to my shop at my house. This car sounds amazing. Now let's load it up and then I'm gonna go over their labor rate. So the Ferrari labor rate to do work is astronomical. I'll get this loaded up in the trailer and then we'll go over that in just a minute. And we are on the road. So it took 3 hours for them to diagnose the repairs, to pull in, to disassemble it, to put it back together, to go through the entire car, and they gave us a courtesy wash as well. They said it took them almost 3 hours. Now he discounted it down to 2 hours for me and helped me out at a labor rate of $469 per per hour. It cost me $960 just to have them diagnose it because it took 2 hours of work. Now, thermostat might take me an hour to an hour and a half. They can charge 2 hours for that too, so double it for a thermostat. The thermostat online, $12. We'll go through the part number soon and what we use for recommended coolant, and we're gonna do the repair in an upcoming clip. So let's get this car back to my house and get it fixed. Hey, well today is a DIY day where we fix our Ferrari. We're replacing a thermostat, flushing the coolant, and today it's all about the Ferrari and getting our hands a little dirty. So this car is overheating. You can see that coolant has poured everywhere. If I open the hood right here, and right there, it began to overheat. It popped this off of the reservoir cap and shot coolant everywhere. What's happening is the thermostat is stuck open, and that was diagnosed by the Ferrari dealer for over $1,000 to tell me that it was overheating because of a thermostat. The thermostat, however, is very simple to get to. It is right behind this firewall on the passenger side. Just like any other car, it should be fairly simple to do, and you're gonna do it right alongside with me. Now, I'm actually glad that the dealer put everything back together because then I know how it comes apart when it's time for me to put everything back together. So the first thing we're gonna do is move this seat all the way forward, which actually gives me a lot of space to get into this. Now we're gonna remove this panel right here, these to get to that firewall. Now, as you can see, it cost me $960.29 just to diagnose this thermostat. Another $1,000 to have them replace it, but we can do it ourselves. This is Xerox G48 coolant, which we're gonna use when we do our coolant flush. And then I also have our thermostat. Part number X0046JSM2F, $12 for this thermostat. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove these Phillips screwdrivers holding this floor panel down. There's 2 on the top, 1 on the side, and then 1 over here. Now the seat belt panel comes off pretty easily. It is just, as you can see, a couple little pins that hold it in place. So we're gonna remove this out of the way here, and I'm just going to tuck it off to the side so it keeps the seat belt out of my way, unlike that side over there. We now can remove this panel and be sure not to misplace the hardware. Now we have both side panels removed and the floor panels removed. Everything's tucked off to the side, and we're gonna get to the back firewall now. Now to remove the carpeting in front of the engine access panel, all I did was reach underneath one side and pry up and pull down. So you'll see I'm able to pull this entire carpet out just by prying up the bottom. You can see there are tabs that it was connected to, and then pulling it out. And now we have access to our engine access panel right here. The engine access panel has 10 bolts holding the panel on, so we're just gonna remove it right here. All of these are torqued down heavy, so we're going to use our wrench instead of our impact gun, unfortunately. Okay, now that I've broken them all free with my wrench, I'm going to use my impact driver to just remove every bolt. All of them are 10 millimeter. To get to the last 2 bolts on the engine panel, I had to remove this tray, which was just 3 Allen heads. So with the 3 Allen heads, that's removed, and I can access here and here, and also remove this panel by the sides. And now I can access these bolts, which are 8 millimeters. I can free them up from here to remove this trim panel right here. Now we can remove the last bolt, and voila, we have access to the engine. And now we can see the thermostat right in there. Now right on top of the thermostat, there are a few Allen heads, actually 4, so 1 on each corner. I've loosened 1 already, and I'm gonna remove the other 3, and the cap should split. Now if you watched any of my videos, you absolutely know that I effing hate working on cars. I hate fixing cars. I should have removed this seat a long time ago. I thought I could get in there. I've been leaning upside down, killing my back. Remove the seat. It's 4 5/16 inch bolts. Even trying to get my screwdriver pisses me off. I hate working on cars. So if I just lift this tab right here, this will slide forward, and then I can access the bolt. So we're just gonna loosen all these, and then once these are removed, we're gonna remove the wiring harness, or unplug the wiring harness, and I can remove the seat and actually have some space. I should have done this to begin with. Here we go. That took me all of 5 minutes, and the seat is out. Now I can remove the wiring harness, which is as simple as this plug right here. So I'm just gonna unclip that, unplug, seat is out. 5 minutes. I was on my back killing myself for 20. Should have done this in the first thing I've done done, actually I should show this at the very beginning. You should do this first, very first thing before you start the process of removing that panel back there. Oh my goodness, this is so much better. Just do things right the first time. The only thing that calms me is classical music. So as you can see, I'm sitting comfortably. I have an Allen bit on the tip of the thermostat bolt. Then I have a 7mm socket on top of that with my snap-on wrench. Now the reason I'm using a snap-on wrench and not, God, I'm gonna lose it. Hang on a second, for flip's sake. The reason I'm using a snap-on socket wrench is because it's actually smaller teeth, so you can ratchet less and get more pull. My like Cobalt and Craftsman ones, there's too much free play in them. Bolts are out. If I reach in here, I should just be able to pull thermostat housing out with the thermostat, I'm hoping. Perfect, there we go. She is out. Elapsed time, it actually took me 2 hours because I'm like, been running around doing things and holding a camera, but it probably should have taken me a total of an hour if my hands were in it and head down, just plugging away. I also lost a socket, which I can actually see it right in there, so let me try to get that as well. I don't want that sitting there. Hopefully this is long enough. It's not going to be, of course. Why would it be long enough? So unfortunately, which I hopefully have said at the beginning of this video, I ordered the incorrect thermostat. So I'm waiting on the new thermostat, which is why it's dark and the project is not finished. I also dropped a 7mm right inside there, so I had to run to the store and get this magnet, which is going to get hopefully my socket and my Allen. There's my socket, and then the Allen should be in there as well. This has a light on it. Let's see here. Here we go, baby. Allen and socket out. Beautiful. I hated having to leave that inside the engine on top. And also the starter is on top of the block right there too. That'd be fun to get to if I ever needed to do it. Hey, so I've done a lot of extensive research because the thermostat that I bought on Amazon that said fits this definitely did not fit this. It was very different. I'm not gonna attempt to put it in. So I did a lot of research, like 2 hours on the computer trying to figure out what thermostat is similar, because a lot of the parts on this car you can get at AutoZone or any other parts store, and I know that I can. So I came up with 1984 Mercedes 380 shares the same thermostat as this 360. However, I had already ordered the correct thermostat, which is right here. This one came from a Ferrari parts store, brand new thermostat. So I wanted to make sure they were identical. I didn't want to confuse anything. So we have the exact same thermostat here. I have the new O-rings as well. So I do want to test this because the Ferrari dealer said this was stuck open. Now, if this was stuck open, everything would flow through. So if everything was flowing through, the car wouldn't overheat. If this was stuck closed and didn't open, then the car would overheat. So we're actually going to test this old thermostat. I'm going to show you how in a minute how you can test a thermostat. I could have actually put it all together without a thermostat. Don't do that because then you just have an open loop constantly. The car won't get up to temperature quick enough because what happens is the coolant runs. As the car is cold start, this is closed. It lets the vehicle build up the heat. It generates the heat from the engine, and then once it gets to operating temperature, the thermostat will open up, typically 170, 180, 190, 200 degrees. The thermostat opens up the loop, lets the coolant flow through the vehicle, and then you have an open loop coolant system. Then as it gets too cold or cools down, the thermostat may close again, and then so on and so on. If this thermostat is stuck closed, I won't get any flow. I won't get an open loop. So I'm going to show you how to test this right now. So first things first, I'm going to rinse the extra residue and coolant off the thermostat. And then as you can see, I can manually press this to open it, but I can't tell you how many pounds of pressure my fingers are creating. Now, if I take this thermostat and I put it in some boiling water, at some point that thermostat should open. Now, like I said, some are 170, 180, 190, 200 degrees. Once it hits that temperature, we should see that thermostat opening, and then you know it operates correctly. If it doesn't open up at all, then we know that thermostat was stuck closed, just as the Ferrari tech had mentioned. I added some more water, so the thermostat is now completely submerged. And if you take a look at what it looks like right now, if the thermostat opens once this comes to a boil, we should see the thermostat open up. Now, if you're attempting to do your own thermostat replacement, you probably already know how it operates. But while we're waiting for the water to boil, I'm going to show you exactly how it works.
Or conversely, the cylinder block's coolant outlet. I'm gonna explain its function using this simple diagram. When the coolant is still cooled, the thermostat shuts off the longer circuit, closing the supply to the radiator. The coolant circulates within the shorter circuit, bypassing the radiator and causing the engine to warm up to its operation temperature faster. The thermostat progressively opens the path through the radiator after the desired temperature has been attained, which is typically 82 degrees Celsius. In order to balance at the optimal operating temperature, the hot fluid from the shorter circuit is mixed with the cold fluid from the longer circuit. If such mixing is insufficient and the temperature continues to increase, at 93 degrees centigrade, the thermostat will fully open the longer circuit, shutting off the shorter one.
As you can see, the water has come to a full boil. Now, a full boil is 100 degrees Celsius or 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, typically, as I've said before, a thermostat will open between 170 and 190 degrees. So this should have already opened by now. Here is the brand new thermostat. As you can see, everything does function properly, but this one is staying stuck closed.
10 minutes later.
So I did give the thermostat about another 10 minutes in the boiling water just to continue testing it. While that was in there, I did clean the thermostat housing inside and out with a wire brush. So I put it in the boiling water to kind of free up any crystallized antifreeze, and then I wire brushed where the O-rings would go, and then also where this would clamp against the engine block and the inside of the tunnel right here. While it was out, I also freed up this bleeder screw. I don't want to have to find this bleeder screw on top of the engine and find out that it has been seized. So I freed that up while it is out of the engine and tightened it back up. I'm just going to rinse it off in the sink, and then we're going to install the new thermostat. My wife would love to see this, me doing this to her sink. And as I dump this boiling water out, I just want to show you a better view of the thermostat. So you can see that is still closed off, so it was never actually opening up. And here's a view from the other side, still closed. Now we use this dish for cooking, and obviously I just put a auto part in here that has highly corrosive and poisonous chemicals in it. Make sure you clean your pots and pans out thoroughly after testing your thermostat. And while we're at it, maybe don't tell your wife that you used her pots and pans to test auto parts. Probably a good idea. Now again, here is my correct thermostat with the O-ring that we're going to insert right there. Then the thermostat will set in place right here. Now this one cost me $124. From the Ferrari dealership, that was like $350. And like I said, I believe it's a 1984 Mercedes 380E or 380ED or something that shares the exact same thermostat as this vehicle. It's like $12 on AutoZone if you want to try that out before purchasing a $124 thermostat that'll do the same thing. So we have our thermostat gasket in place, and we're just going to place the thermostat back into the housing. There we go right there. Okay, let's finally reverse the process, which should be a lot simpler than taking everything out, right? Let's hope, fingers crossed. I'm just gonna insert this the way it came out, put the bolts in, and do everything the same way but opposite. Oh, while I'm removing this too, I wanna show you the old gasket. So look at how gross and melted that old gasket is versus our new gasket right here. So we're gonna insert the gasket first, right inside the engine block, and then we're going to insert the thermostat and then the thermostat housing. So we have our new gasket on right there. We'll put the thermostat right on top of it. I'm doing everything by touch, unfortunately. Make sure the gasket's still in place, and now we're gonna put the housing on. So now that the gasket is installed on the engine block, make sure not to forget the O-ring on the thermostat itself before putting it into the housing. So we're gonna just insert that right there and press down. There we go, our thermostat is in place, and now it's ready to install on top of the gasket on the engine block. So I'm going to hand tighten each Allen head right on top of the thermostat, which you can see right there. Problem is, I'm missing one, always. Why am I missing one? Where did it go? Let's get these on, look for the fourth. Fourth one's missing. I found the bolt, and I'm doing a star pattern. So I tightened the first corner, and then I went to the far opposite corner, and now I'm gonna come across to the top and then back over the back corner on the other side, just so I tighten everything evenly. Don't over tighten, you don't wanna snap the head off that bolt, obviously. Now that those are tight, I'm gonna put the hose clamp back on the hose, put the hose back on the thermostat housing, and then we're going to fill the system and burp it with the bleeder up at the top of the thermostat housing. Be careful, because in a car like this, all the plastic is old and could potentially be brittle, so you don't want to snap any plastic coolant housings or coolant hoses, coolant lines. I've already replaced a bunch of coolant lines in this vehicle. All right, we have the rubber hose on all the way. Now I'm gonna put my hose clamp on. We should be good. I'm going to tighten up this last bolt, and then I just want to start it before we fill up the reservoir and check for any leaks coming from the thermostat housing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there aren't any, and we're good to fill it up and let it run to temperature. All right, the seat has moved forward. Probably should have moved that back. First, we're gonna squeeze in here and then find the key and fire this thing up. I'll hit the immobilizer, one click, insert the key, let the fuel pump prime, turn it on. There we go. It sounds healthy. No smoothing leaking yet. That one spot is from when I took the thermostat gasket out. I think we're okay. Now before it gets too hot, let's check the levels, add the coolant, burp the system, and then put everything back together. Pretty deep into this already, but if you didn't know, the rear hood or engine cover for the Ferrari 360 lever release, latch release, is right here. So if we pull this, it will open up the rear hatch. If we're this deep, you probably already knew that. And there she is, all covered in coolant. So when it overheated before, the coolant all came from over here. When it overheats, it pops this little tube out of the cap, and that's where it all came from, all over the engine. So I'm gonna open this. Like I said, I didn't want it to get to temperature because I didn't want this to explode or have the coolant be too hot. Check the coolant. Yeah, we're pretty low. So this vehicle requires a G48 low silicate phosphate free antifreeze or coolant formula. It is blue. So now I'm gonna remove the funnel. We have a full reservoir filled with blue coolant. And now I'm gonna burp the system, bleed the system, and fill it up again. So as I loosen the bleeder screw, which is on top of the housing, I could actually hear the air come out as the line purges. So you can actually hear it kind of fizzling out of there. If you listen, you can actually hear the air coming out of the bleeder. And if I pump this, you get some air coming out. Cap is off. Bleeder screw pulled out just a little bit, started it just to cycle through the coolant. Reservoir still looks good. I'm gonna tighten it up and take it for a ride. All right, let's take this thing for a ride and see how she does. Oh, stupid immobilizer. Hit one. Try her again. So dumb. All right, you can see right there the temperature's starting to climb. It isn't climbing too high, so we're doing okay. And we just gotta get it up to temperature, then I'm gonna let it idle for a little bit. Well, AC's on, temperature perfect. It's been driving at under 20 miles an hour, high idle, high RPMs for 15 minutes now. My back soaking wet from sweat from that engine throwing all the heat at me. But we're not climbing, so I'm gonna let it idle in my driveway for 15 minutes or so, make sure the fans come on, make sure the temperature stays where it's supposed to be. And I think we're good. I think we're a success. I do also just want to take a second to appreciate what I have. I want to be humble, and like these things I don't look at lightly, take lightly. I own a Ferrari.
Shit is yellow, B.
A yellow Ferrari in my driveway, right? But not only that, I have a Lamborghini Gallardo. I own a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. And this is our next project. We're gonna fix the bumper and get rid of all these swirl marks and scratches. But that's not it. I also have a Dodge Viper, my dream car, the car that I had on my wall as a child, on a calendar, a poster, and a Hot Wheels. These are in my driveway today. And just like dreams, hard work, and dreams come true, and hard work pays off. All those cliche things are true. It's amazing. Okay, elapsed time, 20 minutes in my driveway, and there's our temperature, right around 190 to 200 still. I think we solved the problem, and now we gotta just reverse the process and put everything back together. Rear access panel is on, rear carpet is on. But before I get into these panels, I wanna show you something. So you'll see how dirty the inside of this stuff is. This isn't even sponsored. I use this all the time. This is my Wolf Box air duster. I've already made a video on this, but watch this. I'm just gonna blow all this dust and dirt out. Everything from under the seat is basically out. There we go. So that's it. She's put together. Everything's back to normal. It's cleaned out. It's been idling for over 15 minutes right now. And as you can see, it is not overheating. We've actually driven it as well. The fans have come on. So there it is. I cleaned under the hood. Is that what you call the rear? Under the boot? And then, isn't this called the boot? I don't know. Car is cleaned out. It has been running for over 15 minutes. And there's our temperature gauge right now. I also took it for a drive again. We're good. Car is fixed. Car is clean. And actually, it's listed at the Barrett-Jackson auction. So it's probably on their website already. At the end of April, this car is going through the auction block at the Barrett-Jackson auction, hopefully on Saturday. And we can get rid of this thing. The only thing is 10% seller's fee and a listing fee. So if I sell this for 70 grand, they're gonna take 7,000 plus the fee, so like near $8,000. If I sell for 75, 7,500, etc. But anyway, it's going for sale, no reserve at the Barrett-Jackson auction, probably really soon. So stay tuned for that, and you can buy it yourself. Clean running Ferrari. Timing belt's done, belts are done, plugs are done, fluids are done, thermostat's done, new coolant, runs great, top works, air conditioning's cold, car is awesome, but I gotta get rid of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was entertaining. Hope it was informative. If it was, thumbs ups are appreciated. This is my daily driver until I bought that. Now that's my daily driver. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Adios.